of things that happen because we are part of an evil report, or giving or hearing an evil report. How can you take part of an evil report, Cecile? By listening or by giving an evil report. Right. You can either listen to an evil report or you can give an evil report. That's how you take part in an evil report. Okay? And so we have to learn to shun evil reports. It'll steal all these things from you. And bring all these things upon your life. Yes. Okay, verse 2. Go to Bamidbar 14:2. Okay. So, I've just given you a short list. You enjoy living in fear? Then entertain an evil report. You enjoy being stressed out, man? Then entertain an evil report. Do you enjoy living in unbelief, depression, confusion, the desire to rebel, crying, loss of perspective, seeing the enemy is stronger than Yahweh, losing your purpose, paralyzed to the victory that's guaranteed, loss of the sight of Yahweh and a focus on selfishness and yourself all the time from sunrise to sunset, losing the fruit of love and the fruit of the Ruach, losing the milk and the honey? If you enjoy all these things, then continue to gossip and to do Lashon Hara and to participate in recluse and evil reports in Israel. Can I hear a good amen? Amen. But if you don't enjoy that, we need to stop. Look at verse 2. Bamidbar 14:2. And all the children of Israel murmured against Moshe and against Aharon. Well, what a shock. What a shock. What else is a result of an evil report? Murmuring. Being a poor example of a believer. And a constant, chronic, complaining spirit. If you entertain an evil report, even if you don't receive it, if you entertain it, chronic, complaining, and murmuring, and there's another English word that starts with a B, I won't use it because it's not kosher. Constant. Non-stop. Non-stop. Right? Because it's a little leaven, it's a venomous, leavenous report that will leaven the whole lump. Okay. The whole congregation was leavened. Look at verse 2. The children of Israel murmured against Moshe and against Aharon. Well, time out. What did Moshe and Aharon do? They didn't come back with an evil report. All they did is obey Yahweh. Yahweh told them to send the 12 spies. They told them to send spies. They had 10 spies that came back with a wicked report, and the whole congregation turned against Moshe and Aharon. Yeah, they did. What did Moshe and Aharon do? All they did is send the spies and obey Yahweh. That's it. Look at the end of verse 2. The whole congregation, by Bamidbar 14, said to them, would to Elohim we had died in the land of Mitzrayim. You lose your gratefulness, you lose your attitude of gratitude because of an evil report. Okay. Would to Elohim we had died in the wilderness. Okay, so here's what happens when you listen to an evil report. You have amnesia and you forget what Yahweh did for you before. Amen. They lost their perspective. That Egypt was a place of slavery and the wilderness was a place of death. They lost their perspective. Do not listen to people who continually bring evil reports into your life. Amen. Amen. And I'm not talking about updating somebody on a situation of something that happened. That's an update. An evil report is something that causes you to lose heart, causes you to lose faith, causes you to lose trust, causes you to lose honey, causes you to lose milk, causes you to be paralyzed to the victory that Yahweh has guaranteed you, and get you completely off course, away from the congregation, away from the people, away from peace, away from shalom, away from purpose. Amen. That's it. Talk about it. They would rather have died in the wilderness or remain slaves in Egypt. That's what happens when you lose your perspective. Murmuring and complaining sets in. And an amnesia of the greatness of their past and their future. Yahweh was sending those spies into the Holy Land to show them a glimpse of their victorious future. But when an evil report sets in, they forgot their glorious past and they lost perspective of their glorious future. Can I hear a good amen? Amen. Amen. Yes, they did. Pitiful. Pitiful. Absolutely pitiful. Absolutely pitiful. Amen. It brings a certain amnesia of who the leaders are. Moshe and Aaron, man. Yahweh, man, you're great, you're awesome, you're holy, you're kadosh, man. You lose a perspective who Yahweh is, who you are, who the enemy is. The enemy is like a roaring lion walking about seeking whom he may devour. But he roars and he has no bite. But you lose perspective. You think the enemy is greater and stronger than Yahweh. Amen. Amen. Because this is a report of Yahweh. Whose report will you believe? Isaiah 53:1. Who has believed our report. It's very easy to believe the report that is not of Yahweh. Mm-hmm. Who has believed the report of the gospel among Jewish Israel? So, look at verse 4. Mm-hmm. Verse 2. Death wish and amnesia set in about the greatness of their past and the greatness of their future. You've got a great future as long as you stay plugged into Yahweh and plug your ears from evil reports about what other people and brothers have done or are doing and should be doing. No kidding. I can tell you everything about Chris you want to know. I can tell you anything about Seder you want to know. From the time he was born, he's been sinning to this day, even though he's saved by grace through faith, and he believes in Yeshua, and Yeshua has forgiven his sins. But his life is full of mistakes, errors, misjudgments, and shortcomings. I know his whole life just like you know my whole life. What's the point in dwelling on a wicked and evil report? Then we forget Yahweh's greatness in our past, and Yahweh's promised greatness in our future.
Promised greatness in our future. Amen.
We cannot die. We are invincible. We are immortal. We are like the great Hulk on TV, in that TV program. Or like Hulk Hogan when he was on steroids. We're invincible. We can never lose a match. It's fixed. Yahweh is the Vince McMahon of heaven. And he fixes all the matches between us and the devil. Every match, every wrestling match, professional, is fixed. It took Rivka about 10 years to discover that. Wow. Now because she always used to say, Moshe, isn't that fake? Oh no, honey, this is real. Shh, don't talk because this is a vicious battle. This is a fight to the finish. These wrestlers, they're fighting to the finish. She said, Moshe, come on, it's real. I said, Rivka, take a look. There's banging and slamming and blood and scratches. Come on. She always knew it was fake. Yes. But she wasn't sure. But now you're sure. That's the way it is with Yahweh. Everything is fixed. But in a good way. Yes. All right. We can never lose. We're invincible.
Already decided.
It's already decided. Right. But the evil report comes in. We're defeated. The congregation's closing. The people are leaving. The glory has departed. I had one rabbi tell me, you know, Moshe, you got a problem in your ministry now. The glory has departed. Now, I could have written back and said something, but I didn't because I didn't want to get drawn into that. So I didn't write back. But you know what Yahweh told me? It's better that someone has the glory depart than someone who never even had the glory.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's the end of that.
Okay.
We're just moving right along. You'll know when the glory departs. The glory has nothing to do with numbers. 2 came back with the glory of Yahweh. The whole congregation came back with an evil report and bought into an evil report. Don't ever confuse Yahweh's glory with numbers. Don't ever make that mistake.
Amen. Amen.
Baruch Hashem Yahweh.
Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Amen.
So, now look at verse 4. Verse 3. So they had amnesia, they had a death wish. Instead of hoping for the glorious future, they started entertaining a death wish to go back to Egypt, slavery, or the wilderness. And they had an amnesia of their past and the promised future. Look at verse 3. And then in verse 3, why has Yahweh, verse 3, why has Yahweh brought us, now they're going to blame Yahweh, to this land, because these 10 wonderful spies who gave us this wicked, evil report of fear, doubt, and unbelief. Why does Yahweh brought us here to this land to kill us by the sword, with our wives and our children? They get selfish. You see, they took their eyes off of Yahweh, Darrell.
Yes, they did.
And why should our wives and children become a prey? Is it not better for us to return to Mitzrayim, Egypt? So look at verse 3. Why has Yahweh done this? Well, what did he do, you bubba? He bought you some grapes and said, look, this is a token of how good your future is in the promised land. But instead of eating those grapes and that sweetness, they listened to the lies of the 10 spies.
Amen.
So they started blaming Yahweh.
Yes, they did.
Started blaming Yahweh for a situation that they caused. I said they started blaming Yahweh for a situation. I have learned that I will never blame Yahweh. It's better to take the blame. It's better to admit fault. It's better to admit guilt. It's better to admit pride. It's better to admit arrogance. It's better to admit anything But I said, I will never listen to Job's first